Well, it turns out the grass seems to be getting greener, at least for parts of South Africa's agricultural sector. According to the latest numbers from Stats SA, the industry has raked in 491.7 billion rand over the past 7 years. That represents a 6.8% jump, and it's thanks to everything from horticulture to livestock and a whole lot of hard work in between. But with all this growth, one big question remains: where are the black farmers in this upward trend? Our business reporter, Ntokozo Khumalo, is out in the field, literally out in the field, in Swartbruggens in the northwest, to be specific, to dig into the story. And Ntokozo, good morning. I hear that cattle farming is facing tough terrain recently with declining sales. Where exactly are farmers planting their seeds for profit these days? It does also seems like a story that needs good boots this morning. But I'm also marveling at the wonderful ostriches you've just shown us.
Yeah, good morning, Iman. I was hoping to also see some of the giraffe and buffalo here, which I will be seeing after speaking to you here. But you're absolutely right, Iman. At 9 o'clock, Statistics South Africa did release that agricultural survey that did show that the industry is growing both in size and value. And as you said, cow production on a decrease in 2023, going from 3.2 million to 2.9 million. But still, animal farming contributing quite a lot to that 491 billion rand that was registered in the industry in 2023. And just to talk us through that exactly of where the black farmers are and how they're diversifying for growth, I am now joined by Andrew Apane, who is the founder of the farm that we are on here and the director. And you are also with the association. Thank you so much for talking to us. And we were trying to bring the ostrich a little closer to us here. But as Iman said, that's animal farming still contributing substantially to growth in the industry. But cow farming, which usually is where black farmers would start off, seeing that decline, expected to still feel the impacts, especially on the back of the foot and mouth disease. Talk us through what it is that you do here, and we've already seen the ostrich. So how you've managed to diversify so that you can continue to see some growth.
Thank you, Ntokozo, for the opportunity to look at the stats that was released this morning. The interesting part is the diversification is very, very much important in this sector of agriculture. So if you look at the cows, the downfall of the cows, there are a lot of factors. I mean, some of the factors that affect especially black people is stock theft. As you know that we do our cattle breeding in rural areas where the stock theft is rife. So it's a big problem to us, and that's why there's a decline. I mean, look at the numbers in terms of the stock theft. Black people are really losing a lot of money in that. So we need to think of being smarter. But even though that happens, the government is trying in terms of the land reform, where they are issuing lands to black farmers so that they can have some private lands and start proper farming.
And as we were speaking before, the other animal that you have on this farm is goats, which is not that popular in South Africa. I associate it with Nigerian movies and goat meat and so on. But talk us through, as you're talking about that diversification, the importance of black farmers looking at alternative animals and crops to look into for that growth.
Yeah, I will say that actually goats are gold. They are new gold in the agricultural sector. We decided to go with the goats because we realized that there's so much value in goats. There's so much demand in a goat meat, although those pockets are more in an international markets and more in deep Western Africa and all that. Yes, in the country, we still need to do some teaching in terms of the qualities of goat meat, because the goat meat is more healthier. And it's something that people must start stopping to see it as a ritual animal, as you know. Yeah? And then the other thing that we need to do, especially in this goat industry, is to look at government giving us support in regulating the goat industry. I mean, if you look at even in states, you'll see they'll be talking about cattle, they'll be talking about sheep. But there's not much information about goats. So it's high time that our government really take this very seriously, and then we develop this goat industry, because there is a potential of the goat industry to really make difference in the states that we saw this morning.
Now, we also have wildlife and game here. We've seen the ostrich, as I said, giraffe and buffalo. Firstly, explain to me why kudu meat is so expensive, but also where the opportunities for growth lie in wildlife and game.
Yeah, game industry is a very good industry. Unfortunately, it needs a bit of more transformation. We need more commitment as well from the government, especially from the DFFE department. They really need to put more effort in making sure that we get this support, and they create some pockets of transformation in terms of stimulations for making sure that emerging farmers in wildlife industry like us get a full support. I mean, we do buffaloes and giraffes, like you say here, which we'll see later. Yeah, but the interesting part in all this is there are few black people who really participate in auctioneering of these live animals. So most of us, we partake in hunting. We partake as well in making sure game meat. So we really want to participate in auctioneering, because like I say to you, when you sell meat and when you sell animal for breeding purposes, the price difference is too huge.
Yeah.
And we will see black people making a difference only if the government can support the black farmers to make sure that we improve our genetics on our farms, and then we can now participate because we've got good genetics that can bring in market and can be sold live. That is very, very critical, that black people must be supported so that they can start to participate more in live animals. In game meat, yes, we are participating, and still the regulation is a challenge there. We need to make sure that we get that regulation right and the game meat get it to the shelves.
Well, Andrew, there's a lot to discuss, so we'll leave it there for now, but we do have a lot more discussion. As he said, Iman, he is still going to take me around the farm. We are going to see those buffaloes and those giraffes and get a little bit more detail around those opportunities for black farmers in wildlife and in game, especially as well in goats, which a lot of households do have, Iman. And we did get those statistics out of Statistics South Africa, and improvements in the industry growing both in size and in value. We are also going to hear from a crop farmer that does sunflowers as well on their farms. But the farms here in the Northwest remaining resilient through the challenges and looking for those opportunities of growth, Iman.